Hey everybody, it's Yasmin here. How are you doing? Let me put on my glasses so I can see you. Hello! How is everybody out in the world? I have a really interesting subject today, which I'm kind of excited about. Just let people hop on. Who's well, who's happy, who's all right, who's good, who's not sleeping as we move towards the full moon. I'm trying to sleep. I've got blackout curtains and a weighted blanket now, and I put magnesium on my feet at night. I just need to go to bed earlier. How about you? Who else out there is a night owl and just refuses to go to bed early enough? That's definitely me at the moment. All right, so hello Tracy. Hello, Elizabeth from Brisbane. Oh, wow. We just did chanting. I know loads of you are on there. We had over 100 people, I think for the first time ever, because I actually updated the post, I suppose. And, you know, at the end of it, I had this really amazing feeling of connection of these more than 100 people all over the world chanting. Like, we actually have people in practically all time, no, well, not all time zones, I suppose, because there's probably about 100 time zones. But we have, you know, largely covering most of the time zones. And yeah, it was amazing. So thank you everyone for being there. I've actually been sent an article today by one of the people at the ashram in India that I go to, which is a kind of, I think it's a scientific article about the power of chanting. And so I'm going to have a look at that and I'll share with you what's in it. But today what I wanted to talk about was, it was about a message I got actually this morning on my Moonology certification. We have a group for people who've done the Moonology certification course, who are now Certified Moonologers. And yeah, she said that when she was little, her grandma used to say to her, "Don't look at the full moon through the glass, it will attract the devil." Which is completely not true, and I'm just going to do a big dismiss on that because it's complete nonsense. Like, why, you know, if you believe in God and the devil, then why would you think that God invented, or goddess in my case, invented the moon if looking at it would attract the devil? I mean, that's just complete nonsense. But as she said, it was a really, really interesting example of, you know, that's really just an extension of burning women at the stake, burning women alive in the village square because they had the temerity and the audacity to work with the moon. And, you know, basically, I mean, as I always like to preface when I'm about to say something like this, you know, two of the people I love most in the whole wide world, if not the two people, with no offense to my mother and my sister, who I also love with all my heart, two of the people I love most in the whole wide world are, of course, my husband and my son. And they're both men, okay? So I am far from being a man-hater. Some of my favourite people in the world are my male friends, you know, as much as my female friends. So I'm not a man-hater. At all, not even slightly. I had an amazing dad. But there is just no getting around the fact that for a very long time, men, especially, aka the patriarchy, tried to stop women from going into their power, which one of the easiest ways for us to do that is through working with the moon. Now, my son, you know, has grown up with me talking about the divine feminine and all this, and he's always like, "What about the divine masculine, mummy?" He used to say that a bit more when he was younger, like when he was 11 or 12. He was like, "What about the divine masculine, you know, what about that?" And I was like, "Darling, you know, you just need to understand that what happened here, this is my theory, I have no proof of this, but I feel like what happened was that, you know, some of the toxic men from the past realized that by eliminating women sort of from the competition of life, by, you know, sticking us in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant, what did they do? They basically eliminated 50% of their competition for the top spots. That's what they did. They basically wiped out half the competition. I'm just finally reading that book, The Mists of Avalon, which has been recommended to me by so many people over the years. You know, and you read that, and that's supposed to be, I think, is it? I actually can't remember now when it's supposed to be. Is it 500 AD? 500 AD or whatever you're supposed to say, the politically correct way to say AD. I can't keep up with all that. I'm really sorry. I'm so old-fashioned sometimes. Anyway, 500, so about 1,500 years ago. And, you know, in there, Igraine, who at this point at least is the star of the show in the book, you know, the way she's treated by her husband, Gaulois, and, you know, and she kind of has to put up with it, and she gets given to him. Like, she was just given to him at the age of, I think, 16. She was given to this much older man to be his wife and all that. So, you know, like, just be aware of this stuff. You know, I saw some people today complaining about an event online. I'm actually reluctant to even say too much about who it was, because I think I don't want to badmouth anyone, and I haven't seen it, so I shouldn't. But they were saying that there was this skit on a live of someone who's quite well known in the sort of what you might call the self-development industry, or the self-help, or the personal growth industry. And apparently they had a skit of someone who was making fun of a woman who was complaining that she had a nail in her forehead. And instead of taking it out, she just complained about it. And a lot of people were saying after the event, which I haven't seen it, so I'm not commenting, but a lot of people were saying after the event, well, you know, that was really sexist, because why didn't they have a woman, you know, a man with a nail sticking out of his head, and the woman could be sort of teasing him. Instead of the other way around. Why is it always the woman who's the idiot and the man's, you know, the smart one saying, well, just take the nail out of your forehead instead of complaining about it? And other people said, well, why didn't they have at least, you know, making fun of men, and then another skit making fun of women, you know, balancing it up? You know, the point, I think, as I said, I haven't seen it, but I think the point was, you know, don't complain, do something, take action. I don't think it was supposed to be sexist. And some people were going, oh, you know, can't have any fun anymore. It's the fun police, and, you know, you just do one thing. It's supposed to be funny, and everyone now is complaining about, you know, misogyny and all that. And most of the people saying that, of course, were, you know, white middle-class males, because they're the ones who don't even know what this is even like. And, you know, back in the day, I might have even agreed with that. I might have thought, oh, come on, you know. But now I think, no, like, there is enough misogyny around, you know. There is just enough around without in any way, shape or form adding to it. You know, I don't actually know the domestic violence figures off the top of my head. But I know in Australia, like, the number of women who are killed in domestic violence every year is shocking. And my friend Jess Hill wrote a book about it, Look What You Made Me Do, which the title says it all. So anyway, there we go. Just a little rant today about the grandma who said, don't look at the moon through the window. You know, because that's the kind of thing that the patriarchy said to make women scared. And guess what? It worked. And well, that didn't actually work that well. But what really worked was burning women alive at the stake in the village square in front of everybody, you know, or drowning them or hanging them for doing things like working with the moon. Because what did they do? They took away our power by doing that. So anyway, so I'm here to tell you all this stuff and to remind you to work with your power. And it's full moon very soon, and tomorrow night I'm doing a full moon ceremony. So come with me and buck the patriarchy. And, oh gosh, interesting card. Buck the patriarchy, and let's celebrate the full moon tomorrow night. And I've put a link to the full moon ceremony in the description. So you can just register, it's free. And I will be out in the garden doing my fire full moon thing that I always do. But if it's raining, I will be in here doing it with petals, flower petals. I've just seen someone naming where that ceremony was. I probably would prefer that you didn't say it because, as I said, I haven't seen it. I just wanted to talk about the fact that, you know, if there is even slightly, you know, a case, I think it's always worth not being misogynistic or in any way, shape or form not supporting of women. In the same way, I feel that, same way about, you know, the whole Black Lives Matter movement. You know, I just think it's really important that we redress all these balances. So there we go. All right, I have a card. It's an interesting card. Who is this card for? Who is this card for? Have you got a question? Have you got a question? Who dares get this card? Yeah, don't let the patriarchy separate you from your power. Yeah, no, I didn't say the patriarchy. I said buck the patriarchy. That's why I'm growing my hair, like growing my grey. I don't know if you can see the grey. It doesn't actually show up that much here, but I've got like a streak of grey, and I'm bucking the patriarchy with my grey hair. Why shouldn't we be allowed to go grey? All right. So, okay, here's a card. Now, if you're worried about something, it's a very good card, all right? So think about something you're worried about. Nothing will come of this situation. Now, on the one hand, if you're, you know, you've just started dating someone and you're saying, how's this relationship going to go? Then it might be, well, not going to go anywhere at the moment. You might need to meet someone new. Okay, Liz, for example, just move on from the upset. It'll be fine with the argument with the daughter. Someone else was saying, let me see what else people are asking about. Like if you were asking about, you know, I'm really worried about this sore thing in my back, you know, it's good. It means don't worry, nothing will come of this situation. This card is a kind of a double-edged sword, and it can be really positive. But of course, if you're asking about something that you're kind of worried about, like, is it going to go anywhere? Well, so in a form of astrology known as horary, where an astrological chart is cast according to when the question is asked and decoded, a void of course moon means nothing will come of this situation. This situation will bear no fruit. This may or may not be good news, okay? For example, if you were worried about something, whatever it was, this card can be taken as a sign that there is nothing to worry about. However, if you're asking about a new project of any kind, including a new relationship, it's a sign to adjust your expectations or change things so that you can get a different outcome. Remember, the cards can only predict what you are currently creating. So someone did say, what about my business? So it would suggest that you need to make some changes in your business to get the result that you want, the void of course moon. So there you go. So I'm glad to see I've encouraged at least 2 people to go grey with grace. I think it's going to be great, especially having been a brunette all my life. When I'm all grey, I'll feel like what it would have been like to experience being a blonde in this lifetime. All right, my darlings. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Lovely to see you all. And I believe it's only Wednesday today, isn't it? So I'll see you tomorrow. Lots of love, everybody. And thank you for all the stars everyone's sending. It's very kind.